Good boy. This is Spike. Spike's the mascot of Do Not Talk. And I'm CharLee Simons. I'm the host, talking about the two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion. One decides what life is going to be like here on earth, the other one decides what it's going to be like when you leave it. Makes it important. The silent majority has finally found its voice. Now it just needs to get louder. And I think it is. I do believe it is, despite what the media, mainstream media, is telling you. All right, partner. Here you go. Here you go. Sam Anthony is on my show today from Your News, yournews.com, the real news, the news you're going to get from everyone else that the media ignores, everyone else that the media has fired, everyone else that the media has demoted or shut up or squelched or shut down. Guys like me. That's who Sam Anthony goes to and has as a part of his platform, his news platform. Is fantastic. If you haven't been there yet, yournews.com. Make that your go-to. And the best part about it is you can make it local. You can actually put in your zip code. You just want to know what's going on in your area. Fantastic. In your county, in your region, in your state, in the nation, in the world. All of it is right there at yournews.com with a whole lot of reporters, broadcasters, and pontificators like me, all on one platform. I love it. And I hope you'll turn to it for your news. And I'm seeing it showing up now. People sharing shows, sharing things from yournews.com. That's how we grow. That's how we support each other. That's how we make things happen. Speaking of make things happen, let's get right to it with Sam Anthony. Ready? Hit it. Hey, buddy boy, I'm wearing my Florida golfing hat for just in honor of you today.
Look at that.
How about it? Yeah, right.
Good
It's
to see you.
the white hat, which you see so many golfers wear. That's why I wore this just for you. How are things out there in the great state of Florida?
Well, they're definitely warm. That's all I'm going to say. This is summertime in Florida. The nice part is we're hardly getting any rain and we're not getting any hurricanes at the moment, knock on wood, because apparently the Sahara sands are over us and it's blocking the sun. So it's making it somewhat cooler. It's not maybe the sands absorbing the rain. I don't know, because the rain has like been almost next to nothing. If like in the last 2 weeks, normally you get summertime where you get so much, heat and it, absorbs into the air and, then get dumps down every day at 4 o'clock. And lately we just had, in the last 2 weeks, we've gotten almost nothing. So
the whole Sahara sands thing is fascinating to me. I only learned about that a few years ago when they have these huge sandstorms in the Sahara Desert. It actually affects weather over there on our East Coast.
Yeah, it's kind of nice actually. We need to get big fans out there and have storms all the time, right? So we don't have to deal with all this rain and hurricanes, because usually there's always hurricanes floating out there at this time of year out in the Atlantic, and I don't know if there's any at all. I mean, I haven't heard anything. So we're literally, we're 2 months, 2.5 months into the season, or at least 2 months, and so far nothing. So the worst months are always, August, September, and even October. But that's
President Trump gets blamed for everything bad, so I'll blame that on President Trump. It's the Trump effect, like they're having good weather there in Florida. I also blame Trump for something great that's happening, and you predicted it. Good heavens, I've been talking to you for how many years now?
I don't know why everybody doesn't listen to me. I predict everything.
I know. Frankly, when you first started saying these things, I kind of doubted it, because I don't have a lot of faith in humanity. I've been in the media for too long, but you've been right. The collapse of mainstream media is astounding and amazing. Even Gayle King from that little morning show, Oprah Winfrey's girlfriend, has been demoted and given a pay cut, and it's probably not long for the broadcasting world. And nobody's lining up to pick these people up. Have you noticed that? Nobody's going, "Oh, we'll take them over here." No, they're not hiring; they're firing in mainstream media.
CharLee,
better.
It's over. I mean, I don't know how to explain it to you, but the money's dried up. And, remember we had the conversation with audience and, how many they age 25 to 54 viewing mainstream media, which was abysmal, for the first quarter. The money's going where the people are. But there's people that are on TikTok and Instagram that are bigger on a daily basis than every mainstream news outlet combined.
Yeah.
So where do you think the money's going to go? There's a girl I know that's got a couple million viewers on TikTok. And, if I were to buy ads from her, it would be far less money. I mean, her audience would be like, she has Red Bull as a client, but the audience is going to be for stuff like that, or jewelry or makeup or whatever it is. Certainly not for our business, but if you're selling jewelry, would you rather spend, $1,000 in a newspaper ad that's gone the next day in one little local market that, 600 people saw, or she could put it in front of 2 million people?
Yeah.
And for a fraction of the cost.
When I will know that things have absolutely changed for good when Joe Rogan is brought to you by Nike or Gillette or any other woke company. Right now, though, they refuse because they don't want the backlash. They're afraid. They're afraid of any kind of backlash. That's why so many of these corporations they used to try and play no political, no taking a stance. And then it just got so bad under Obama and then Biden and everything where they went all woke. And most of these people running these companies are definitely on the side of bringing down the United States of America, which is so odd to me because it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot. They go wherever the money is. Well, the money is no longer in being woke, is it?
It is completely not. I mean, it was in being woke only because they had something called USAID. But once they got a hold of that, all of a sudden, all these people are being let go in media. Why do you think that is? It's because no more money's left to pay them. That money was being funneled to them. It would go to a specific individual who then funnel it out. So once it leaves DC, then it's like, well, it's not under our control. We gave it for this. Whatever they do, it is their problem. But they knew where it's supposed to go. So this is why all these people are being laid off. I mean, if you wonder, you had, like we have the best Congress money can buy, we had the best media money can buy. They were bought and paid for. And now it's all going away. Look at Colbert. He's done. Who's coming next? I mean, all of them aren't going to survive. And the reason is they've become irrelevant. Nobody cares. And CharLee, look, I mean, what are we, 25 years into podcasting, so to speak? When did YouTube start? I mean, roughly 2000-ish, maybe 2005 or whatever. But, you're 25 years into it. So there had to be the first podcaster, right? There had to be somebody. And now there's literally tens of millions of them. Well, actually more because YouTube has 51 million. So let's just say there's 50, 52, 53 million people that do video. Then you got audio. So maybe you got 100 million people that are doing this. I mean, it's just an ocean of people. And you have choices, but it's hard to be found. So in the beginning, being a podcaster, which may have not have been that cool, but you were able to build a big audience because when you went to YouTube and they only had 30 people, right? I mean, it was, okay, this guy looks good to me. So you get to know him. Today, it's much more difficult. This is why I tell these journalists, when you're, and you can attest to this, CharLee, you were in radio, people stayed there a long time or they went to a different place, but then the local newspaper in your town, you probably saw the same exact writers for years that were there, right? Like, we have Frank Sarabino here.
Make a whole career being in the same market.
The whole career. I mean, so when I came to Florida in 1989 or 8 or something like that, that guy was the political writer for the Palm Beach Post. He still is. Okay. He's a liberal. But he announced his retirement because they probably told him, we're not going to be paying you after this date, but we'll let you retire. And so who's going to come in behind him? Well, there's a void being left. So what's going to happen with the news reporters that are coming on our platform is there's a day where there's the first one. Now we're over 5,000. But somebody's going to start reporting on the political stuff or the high school football games. Well, you don't need more than one person to do it in the community. But for the younger generation, this gives them the ability to be able to be the go-to person for that particular topic. And so all the old guards getting pushed out, they're not going to transform to new media. So the real opportunity is set in front of the people that want to go grab it, because it's all going to change. All this stuff's going to be platforms. CharLee, does Rumble ever call you and tell you what they want you to talk about today?
No.
Okay, so it's independent news reporting. You're your own show. You make your own decisions, and if you're good with it, it goes. Okay.
Thank God. Thank God.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And so YouTube kicked you off. So you're left with Rumble, free speech. In our business, it's the same thing. Each independent news reporter is his own brand, and that guy's either going to sink or swim. Same as what you guys do, but it's just for local news, state news, national news. It's whatever topic they want to write about. That's what that. And by the way, I was just on another show earlier. They were saying, well, why haven't the news people done this? And I said, because everything we do is what they're completely against. You think they want you to have a voice? You think they want to push an agenda? They don't want to have 1 million people contributing to a narrative. They think about it. They would lose their minds.
If they hadn't censored us so completely during the whole COVID shutdown, and so many of us were out there having people on like Dr. Judy Mikovits and Robert Malone and so on, and getting kicked off and getting deleted and shut down and shut up. But if we would have had an actual open, free speech, First Amendment friendly platform on all media, the word would have gotten out much sooner of, this is not a good thing that they're forcing you to do, taking these shots. This is a terrible thing. Rethink this. Here's some people who have a different way. It's just a flu that has a 99.8% survivability rating. Stop letting them control you through fear. But because they had no media really speaking up about it, and everybody was on board with anything that of course, Big Pharma was pushing, and Big Pharma got uber wealthy over all of that through our tax dollars. These free shots were absolutely nothing free about it. We all paid for it. And so many people are now either they lost their jobs, lost their careers if they didn't take the shot. But if they did, now they're losing their lives, they're losing their health, they're losing so much. I think the media was complicit. I'm glad that they're being called into account, and I want to see them shut up and shut down, just like they were doing to us. That might not be a good attitude on my part. Maybe I'm doing what they would do.
No,
but
right thing.
Talk about lies and misinformation. The greatest lie that the media tells is the lie of omission, not letting you even hear another side of anything.
Yeah,
I'm
CharLee,
glad that this is
I
happening.
agree. Yeah, it's, they've killed a lot of people. Let's call it for what it is. It's actually become murder. So here's what I pray. I pray the people that own these platforms took every goddamn booster they needed to take, right? Matter of fact, there needs to be another round going to them, okay? Because they get exactly what they deserve. You're right. You needed to be able to have people, independent people, be able to report on what they're doing. I mean, you have doctors that are on the front lines that are dealing with this stuff. Who knows better than them? But yet they were censored. And so because of it, people did die. So your feelings, there's nothing wrong with feeling the way you feel. Everybody feels that way, that has half a brain. These people are going to get what they deserve. So first of all, look, if the media has been telling the truth, but ultimately they went the way of the dinosaur, everybody would feel bad. Nobody feels bad now. Now they just want them to rot and burn faster and just get rid of them, because they are the problem. So what I do is what they're completely opposed to, because the ability for you to have free speech, the ability for you to be able to tell a story or to tell a different side, say, no, that's not true. That's not what they're interested in. They actually believe they're above us. They really do.
They fully do. The arrogance.
Dude, I almost beat one guy half to death one day sitting at somebody's house because he was so arrogant to me, and I stood up over him, and he knew I was pissed. And, I was just tired of his mouth. And I told him, you better shut it before I do it for you. He didn't stand up, because if he would have, he'd have never got off that chair. I'm just done with him. That's all I can tell you. I have yet to find one that has any common sense and decency. I'm talking about the old guard. I look for, but like there are news outlets and people that are leaving these outlets. But when they see the content that we're publishing and some of it, they get offended by it, which offends me. Because to me, I'm thinking to myself, so you mean you have something different you want to say? So why don't you say it? Why do you have to complain about what other people are saying? But they
It's the
don't.
media that was telling people, oh, yeah, you need to. I mean, the media and politicians and Maxine Waters and those kind of people tell them they're not welcome here. They don't even get to say anything. They shouldn't even be able to participate in society because they don't believe the way we do and the way you're supposed to. That uh, the best advice I can give to my fellow podcasters, being a longtime broadcaster, got into podcasting only about 4 years ago. I put all my eggs in the wrong baskets. I thought that Facebook was the biggest platform. I didn't worry about going to Telegram. I'm not on TikTok. I don't have a Substack, but all those things are about to change. I think I need to because I put everything into Facebook and tens of thousands of followers and viewers. And it was a great platform to be able to promote. I got a new show out. Sam Anthony's on. Watch this. Go to my Rumble channel and watch this show. You'll get to some education, some real education of what's going on. And what happened a month ago, Facebook deleted every single one of my pages. And of course, because they own Instagram, they took that away as well. It's gone like that because
There
I
you
put
go.
all my eggs in that basket. That was a huge mistake on my part.
Huge mistake. Yeah, you got to be in these other platforms because the power that they're wielding and what they're able to do and censor people, and it's for no reason other than you just don't fit their narrative. And I don't know what their narrative is, because if you were telling lies and telling people, I just got the shot, I feel great, I took another vaccine, I feel amazing, I didn't even need it, I just took it because I said, what the hell? I mean, oh my God, we need to promote the living creature. You get 1 billion views.
Yes.
Maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe you ought to do one where you show you injected like water. You don't let them know. But
Right.
then you start to, while you're promoting it, so excited. Oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. Now that would be a good spoof. You get some
Yeah.
traction with that.
So let's talk about yournews.com. You've got so many people on board now, and they're all getting monetized too, by the way. And I encourage my fellow podcasters and journalists to actually check out yournews.com. Go there, go to the bottom of the page and become a contributor. And Sam shares ad revenue with you, which is fantastic. That's a nice incentive. It's a nice bonus, but you get to continue working and still getting your voice out there and doing the job that you were created to do, and that is sounding the alarm if that's what your calling is, or letting people know if something as simple as, oh, I got the best peach cobbler recipe in the world. It could be just that simple too. There's a platform for all of it at yournews.com. I appreciate you doing that. How many people do you have on board now?
A little over 5,000 total. I mean, it's kind of a big number, but
All over the country.
all over the United States. Yeah. So we're building, we're growing. I want to get that in the
Yeah,
next
you're
couple
going to Canada, aren't you?
Yeah, so I am. As soon as
They
that damn
need you.
follow button is done, I've my CTO is on vacation this week, but he's still working. But when he gets back, they're ironing out some of the stuff with that button where you could follow individual authors. And then once that gets all done, then Canada will be the next move, and we'll continue forward. And obviously tech is never going to end, but it's just opens up a new market. So you've got another 40 million potential people that could be reading. Canada certainly is going to be pissed off at me for doing this, because the stuff that those people are going to be submitting are not going to be the stuff they want to see, since they're not into free speech. They have no First Amendment, right? So we'll see where all that goes. I'm just happy that we now have Bondi seems to be doing something where you might start seeing indictments. Because to me, that is all of it, because somebody needs to be accountable for what they did. I mean, look at all these people committing all these crimes, treasonous crimes. Nobody ever gets indicted, but they could find somebody like me or you, manufacture stuff, sell it, and get us indicted. And it's completely untrue. So
Totally is. But
yeah.
let's talk about something you just brought up with Pam Bondi.
Mhm.
There are some names on a list of people that are being called in to testify before a grand jury.
I don't think that's going to be to Congress. I don't think the grand jury is secretive. They don't know who it is, meaning the people that are in the grand jury. They're bringing whatever documents that Tulsi Gabbard, brought in, or wherever they got these documents, saying these are crimes committed. Here's the statute that it falls under. Here's the law, and here's what they did. So they broke that law. So if they can sell the grand jury on why this person needs to be indicted, then there'll be indictments on those people and they'll go pick them up. So that everybody's been waiting for the perp walks. The people that I saw, we published an article. The people were, the subpoenas are for Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Merrick Garland, James Comey, Bill Barr, Alberto Gonzalez, Jeff Sessions, Robert Mueller, Loretta Lynch, and Eric Holder. So, those people are going to be subpoenaed to go testify before Congress, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a complete waste of time. Have you ever seen anything come out of that before? Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. I mean, it's like, why? Why do you even want to do this? I mean, why don't we just, get a grand jury? If there's crime committed, let's sit them down in front of a judge and a jury and let them explain their argument to them. They're all going to plead the fifth anyway. I mean, they got them dead to rights. I don't see any way that they lose this. So,
good point.
Yeah. I mean, why? Why does Congress have to get involved? You have other things to do. So on another note, did you see what was happening in Texas
with the redistricting?
The redistricting, and so you had a bunch of people, legislators that just left and went out of the country. So or not out of the country, but out of the state, and the governor, what is his name? For some reason, it just escapes.
Greg Abbott.
Yeah, Abbott. So did he issue warrants for their arrest?
That's what I heard too.
That's what I heard. Okay, I heard it on a clip. So apparently, if they don't come back, there's a warrant for their arrest. But what I'm wondering is, if you set a time to do the vote, if they don't show up, then they're not voting. Then who cares?
Well, I think there's legalities of it. There has to be a quorum and all that kind of stuff, doesn't there?
Maybe, but I would just bypass the whole thing. Look, if you don't want to play ball, we understand. You lose. I don't know. I'm over it. So, I'm not the right guy to talk to with this kind of stuff, because as far as I'm concerned, all these people need to be locked up. I mean, they're absolutely nuts. Okay. I don't even know what to say. This kind of stuff just irks me, but I agree there's got to be procedures, but at this stage of the game, the only thing these people do is hinder. That's it. They're not here to help. They're here to make sure that this guy gets nothing done. So what are they going to say when Trump brings in $2 trillion in tariff revenue? Okay. What are they going to say? They're going to have to spin that about how it's bad. And so when Trump then says, okay, so we take in $2 trillion from income tax, we've cut a couple trillion out of the payroll for the government, and we're taking in $2 trillion here. No more income tax. Now they got to sell that to the public as to why. Don't do it. It's going to be bad for you. Okay. Give the money back to us. We know where to spend it. He's doing this for rich people. I mean, I don't even know how you could spin that. So everybody's going to get a tax. So they're saying that, by the way, did you see that? Now, here's how I see tariffs. Comes into the coffers. They charge the country. Somebody's got to pay for it, right? So it's got to be maybe the manufacturer takes a little hit. Okay. And then the retailer takes a hit because they, still want to sell the product. So if it's a $5 item and they're buying it for $3, and this guy's got a cost of $2, maybe it cost them 50 cents, and they're not really raising the prices. So I saw the numbers that came out. It was like almost nothing has really went up. It's being absorbed, which means that the margins may have been actually bigger than you think.
The profit margins, yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that $5 or $10 item might have had $9 in it. Okay, so they're not raising the prices. So because to me, I'm thinking, okay, so if I was paying $5 for something and now I'm paying $6 for something, that's fine as long as I don't have to pay taxes. I'll pay an extra 20%, right? Wouldn't you?
Yes.
So no more taxes. So they'll get me over here if I want the product. If I don't want the product, I don't pay. And that's it. So I think it's comical that everything is backfiring in their face. I don't really think they have anything to stand on except manufactured stuff, which is all they ever had before. So I'm still a believer, Charlie. I don't know how California is going to get out of the mess that they're in, and you guys have a plan, but I think that one's going to take years to figure out unless you just get a total collapse.
Yeah.
And no, the rest of the country is not going to go when California goes. It'll just make better pricing, so people like me will come in and buy in there. It's all it's going to do. And by the way, what's happening with the Palisades?
Yes, with the land grab.
Yeah, the land grab. So the government's just coming in and taking it all.
Yeah.
So
changing zoning, so these people can't even rebuild.
Explain that to me. How do you sell? Oh, you don't have to sell it to anyone. All your friends are in government that are going to pass it all through, and all the judges are all bought and paid for.
They're literally just doing it. And as long as California keeps putting people in like Gavin Newsom, as long as people stupidly keep putting those kind of people into tremendous positions of power, nothing's going to change. And this election next year, especially the gubernatorial election, is vital. It's imperative. We've got all hands on deck. All who voted for Trump in the last presidential election, we need to show up. And we got to be there at the primary too, especially for my fellow Republicans. We got to vote in that Republican primary because that decides who's going to be going to the big race in November. And right now we have Last I heard, there's over 100 people who have declared they're running for governor of California. Jeez. And we got a single primary here. So it's the top 2 vote getters who go to the big election, regardless of party. So we might just get 2 Democrats. If we don't show up in the primary elections and we don't vote on, I'll get behind one candidate, we could have 2 Democrats running for governor of California. So it is here. That's how they set it up. And it's awful and horrible. And we need a Republican governor in there just to get rid of that. That jungle primary disaster.
I think they've got a pretty good stronghold. Now, whatever happened with Paul and with Reston, is that his name, Paul Reston? With the new California?
Paul Reston with the new California state.
Reston. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how is that coming along?
Oh, well, you talk to them, it's going great, and it's going to happen. But it's a hard sell because with the state of Jefferson, which was their whole campaign slogan was "The time has come for 51," make the state of Jefferson the 51st state. Just cut the state in half, basically, like North and South Dakota, East and West Virginia, North and South Carolina. That's how it was set up originally. But for some reason, that didn't work. And when you talk to Paul Preston, it's because constitutionally, the way they were doing it was not viable. It wasn't going to be able to happen. So he's come up with a way to split up the state, but it's a hard sell because basically where the bastion of lefties are, like in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, down in Los Angeles also, they would still be old California, and everything else around it would be new California. And it's how do you get people to understand that and get behind that idea? That's a hard sell. So I would love to see it happen. I hope it does.
I don't think it's a hard sell because the conservatives are the only one that really want it. So how is it a hard sell? I mean, it just makes logical sense. We're going to split off. We'll have our own governor. You guys do it yours. You bankrupt yours. We don't really care. It's not our problem. And we'll be financially or fiscally responsible, and you guys could do what you want. So monies will come.
The geography of it, I think, that's confusing to people. The fact that it doesn't cut the state in half, it breaks it up into little pieces. The majority of it being new California, but where the big population bases are, they would still be the original regular California. That's a hard sell to me. You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think anytime you can get away from those crazy nut jobs in California and you could start your own. I don't care if I just get a little piece. You just take it. It doesn't matter. As long as my property's on the side that says new California.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. And if it's not, move the lines. Get me in there.
I hope it works. I really do.
We'll see. I mean, it would be great because then, the revenues coming into the state for Newsom would be dramatically diminished.
Oh, sure.
And that whole thing would just implode. I really love the train to nowhere that I thought it was. I think they spent $17 billion and they don't even have a track laid right? Nothing, not even a yard of track.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how do you justify something like that?
You don't, especially now that we're finding out that the money has been going to everyone else but that. This should have been done
But
quickly.
wouldn't that be criminal?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so why don't
Misappropriation of funds.
yeah,
Absolutely will be. And there's federal dollars that have been poured into this as well. And President Trump, may God bless his awesome heart, is saying, you know what, we want that money back. Like, yeah, make them pay it back. That'd be awesome. It won't happen. But
you know you'll never get that to happen, but
no.
you could get them to court and you can sue them for it, and then you can get to where you owe us this kind of money, and then you'll figure out ways to take it. You cut deals. I mean, Trump is very good at that stuff.
Is Doge still happening?
It's
Because
what I
under
understand.
Elon Musk, that was all the talk of the land. Doge it. That's fantastic. Go for it. We're all saying yes, make them pay, and the left is screaming and squealing. They're taking away important government programs. The latest one
They
now.
can't name one, Bill, but
I
they're taking
know.
it away. They're taking them away, like
I
Planned Parenthood. Yeah, that's important.
I don't know if it's still viable, if it's still going on, and never hear anything about it now. All of a sudden, with Elon being gone, but I hope it is, and I hope we Doge California. That's what I want to see happen more than
Yeah, so
anything.
I'm pulling it up. Uh, it's scheduled to end July 4th, 2026. So it's still going.
Good.
Doge service compromised the United States Doge service temporary organization and is scheduled to end July 4th. So
I don't want it to end. I want it to keep going. That should always be in place.
yeah,
Well, whether it's California, whether it's Florida, and everything in between, the nation does seem to be turning around, but we don't see it here in California because the media doesn't report on it. They have inflated gasoline fuel prices, and the registrations price for vehicles is still through the roof, and
in California.
it's all being it's all being blamed on Trump. Oh, I thought Trump's was going to cut down fuel prices and so on. Well, he has. The rest of the nation is paying about $2 a gallon.
I paid about 273 or 5 the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I did buy eggs, and I looked, because a dozen eggs here was, I think, 375 or 50 for extra large or something like that. Which I remember those things were like $8 or $9, so they've at least got cut in half. And by the way, I looked up a Doge is a coin, so I read you the wrong thing. So the Department of Government Efficiency established by Trump is still active, though it is not traditional government agency. It was created by executive order. So yeah, it's still going. Oh,
good.
and it is going to terminate on July 4th, 2026. So
Yeah, I hope it doesn't. I hope they make it a regular thing and it stays in place. But it would be so easily corrupted though by getting nefarious people in charge of the thing, wouldn't it? And that's a
you mean
big
like all of Congress? I mean,
yes.
so to me, the only way to fix this problem, CharLee, is to completely just make it so the government can't spend any money on anything. Okay, period. They can't give it to these nonprofits or whatever they call them. These what are they called?
NGO,
NGOs, where then they
non-government organization. Yeah,
needs to all be stopped. Okay, so they're not allowed to do anything. And so what they really need to do is, we believe Ukraine needs money, so we're going to put up a website. Anybody wants to donate their money to Ukraine, you could do it. Let's see how many people donate. There you go. Because if the American people thought it was important, you'll probably get tenfold of what you would have put in.
good point.
And if they don't give a rat's ass, you're getting nothing.
Right.
So that's, to me, that's democracy at work. I mean, let people make the decision. And this is why they have nonprofits. So like, if you ever listen to Ron Paul, he'll tell you there was never a problem. If there was a problem, there would be nonprofits that were set up to be able to help disabled people or help. And, and so people would donate their own
in the
money.
private sector. Yes.
In the private sector, all of a sudden the government said, we don't need you. We'll take it, all that money. We'll hire people. By the time they get the money, it's only 10% of what you gave, because we have layers upon layers upon layers of bureaucracy So we're employing people. So even though you want to help those people, you're donating, but you're really helping the people we hired who could get a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically paying for them. So I mean, it really needs to go back to that way. Or we just need to get rid of DC altogether and just make them accountants and let the states run everything, which is my personal opinion. I mean, how do you govern from the top down? I mean, if California wants to bankrupt itself, they should have the right to do it. They should have the right to take everybody's land. And then once they're done, they're done. And then everybody leaves and you're governing nobody. Then they'll have to bring the Mexicans in.
Which is what they've done. And they're voting.
Yeah, and they're voting. So
with the motor voter law.
It's gotten out of hand. But here's the good news. The good news is right now we've got some kind of sanity in the White House, right? With Trump in there and, with the people he's put in power positions. You've controlled the Senate, you control the Congress. The mainstream media is going to be completely discredited. They're on their way out. All the crimes that have been committed with this Russia hoax, now all these people are going to be put in front of a grand jury, and most likely there's going to be indictments. So all this heads are going to start to roll. All this stuff's going to really start to come out. Now, the bad part is the liberals won't believe it. They'll just think it's Trump being vindictive. Okay. That's all. But who gives a crap?
I don't. Yeah, I really don't care.
Okay. So it really, you really need to restore this country back to the people, and you really need to get the burden of the debt off of them, and then give them the ability to be prosperous or not be prosperous, one or the other. And you really need to completely cut income taxes and seize the Federal Reserve. And now you basically have your own country. It's yours. It's not somebody else's. It's like when you buy a house, you have to pay taxes, right? You have to pay your city taxes. And this is what affords the school. So the house is not really yours. And every year you have to write a check for it. Okay. So, eliminating that and just making it based on purchases is the only way to really do this with any efficiency.
Oh, I fully agree.
I mean,
the crap out of me that they can still come and take my house. If I was, if I was even, 30-day late on paying my property tax, they can come and literally take it away.
I'm sure California's going to pass a law that says if you're 1 day late, they could seize your house. If you're an hour, we want your house, and you're out of it, we'll come in and seize it. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. Those people want everything, and they want you to have nothing. Yeah, and they want all the people coming in from another country to occupy those houses and vote for them.
Do they want it just because of the tax revenue, or do they want it just because they are all hell bent on that 2030 agenda of you will own nothing and be happy? It's that whole one world government thing. And guys like Gavin Newsom, Governor Hairdo, truly feels that is the way to do it, is to take everything away, like they're doing in the Pacific Palisades and Malibu and areas where they're literally changing zoning laws to where people will not be able to rebuild.
Yeah,
that's happening now. This land grab down after that horrific fire, the greatest fire and catastrophic fire in the history of California, and the people like Mel Gibson and other big celebs and big name Hollywood types lost everything, and their retribution is zero right now. Zero. How does the federal government come in and rescue and end all of this tyranny that's happening, this land grab? I don't know. Can the federal government even come in something like that?
I would venture that
these are state issues.
Because it'll go right before the Supreme Court, and they'll tell them you can't do it. So the answer is yes.
It's already happening.
Huh?
It's already happening. They're already doing it. They're already changing the zoning laws, requiring that 40% is low-income housing in those building areas.
There's going to be court battles with that, and it's going to go to. It's only take 5 years. It'll be fixed. Don't worry about it. And they're battling with your tax dollars.
Okay? Exactly.
So they're going to have to up taxes because of all the lawsuits that are happening. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. They're not here to help. They're here to hurt. They want to control and own everything, and they want you gone, and they want you replaced with people who can't think. And then I wouldn't even be surprised if they went so far as to eliminate elections and say, we've decided that this guy's so popular, since 100% of you like him, that we're just going to name him as the permanent king of California.
And then you have China.
It's a natural progression. It's just how it works. And they were getting close. They were getting close. Thank God they didn't win this last election, because this country would have been bankrupt, over the next
Can you
8 years.
imagine if
Yeah.
Kamala Harris would have won? Can you imagine where we would be now?
I couldn't imagine. I mean, my plans were always to get out of here. Now I'm, sitting here with one foot going, which way do we go? And I'm seeing all positive things. So this is what I keep trying to tell people. And I have a friend of mine, and I don't want to mention Chad's name. Every time I talk to him, it's doom and gloom, Charlie. Every single time I talk to him, it's, well, they're going to unleash another virus. And I'm like, no, they're not. Okay. And if they do, I hope it's Ebola, because at least they could do something. I mean, get rid of everybody, right? It's never going to happen. Because this shit they just gave us, I got it. I sneezed. I mean, that was all it was. So it was a nothing burger. If you're going to really release something to lower the population, reduce it 100%.
It was all fear. It was all fear-based.
That's all. It was all fake. And by the way, nobody's going to believe the next one. Nobody.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody.
Well,
but all the people on the left will line right up.
I'm going to invest in the virus shots, and I'm going to stand out on a corner, and I'm going to say $50. Here's a shot. You can have how much you want. Sure. Make money off of it. Might as well.
There you go. That's a good plan.
Yeah. So for the most part, anybody who's relevant is not going to even believe it. So I don't really see it happening. What I see happening is I see that Trump is going to fill the coffers. And once all these deals, because I don't know the exact amount of countries, because I haven't been following it that close, are all completed. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't there something like 150 or 180 that need to be done? Obviously, some are bigger than others. China, they're taking more time to deal with. But what's going to happen is, and it's obvious, you're going to have literally a couple trillion a year coming in the door. And if he could eliminate all the wasteful spending, or the bulk of it, and get his hands around it, where you're not spending $2 trillion, now you're at a surplus. And all you need to do then is eliminate income taxes for everybody. Maybe you just make it so corporations are the only ones who pay, which I don't even think that needs to be. Because if you were to eliminate the income tax, or the taxes on companies, corporations, you know how much money Apple has overseas? It's $1 trillion.
They would bring it back here.
It would all come back. Are you kidding? You want to talk about an economic boom? Okay, so all these companies, they have all these accountants that they pay literally tens of millions of dollars a year to be able to beat the tax codes. And all of a sudden, you don't need them anymore, because we're not filing anything other than just
no more H&R Block.
No, you don't need it anymore. But I'm talking about
tax commercials.
Right? The stock market would triple, because the earnings would be through the roof. What would end up happening? It would funnel down to the employees, and they would all get pay increases. You think about that. It would all, because you're talking about, they tax these companies as much as 40%, right? So they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to drag the billions to show less. Okay. Now you don't have to do that. You get rid of all these people, and all of a sudden you want to show more. Okay. Well, what do you do with all these profits? You reinvest, hire more people, also pay increases to all my people for a good job, bonuses. Okay. But nobody seems to grasp that. And the stock market would double or triple in like 18 to 24 months. I mean, literally, because earnings would be through the roof, because the government took the chokehold off of them. And why that doesn't happen, I mean, maybe it will. Maybe. I mean, I know Trump understands this stuff. You take your hand off of somebody's neck and watch how much they breathe. And that's all it is. And so you could free this whole country and create an economic boom, as Trump would say, like nobody's ever seen before, right? So that's where it all needs to go, Charlie, honestly. And so then when you factor all that stuff in and you bring in prosperity for all, the next thing is a free press where news and information could be, published freely without censorship. And now you're talking about a complete free society. You have it all. And the liberals do not want that at all.
No, because they want the one world government. They want their Star Trek utopia.
Exactly. And so where's the upside? It's only for the few. And the funny part is the ones that are down here don't understand that if they get what they want, they ain't going to like it, because they're not going to be one sitting in a big mansion that in the Palisades that the government took. Okay. Because that's going to their friends, right? It's not going to them. So I don't get it. All I know is right now we have momentum heading our way. And by the way, the guy, Chad, that I didn't want to mention his name, he's now all of a sudden go, I think you're right. I go, Chad, when am I ever wrong? Okay. Haven't you ever been to my website? It says your news, and underneath it, it says know everything. So that's all you got to do is know everything. But it's just the natural course of things. So if all that's, and believe me, I'm not saying I'm smarter than Trump. I'm just saying, look at the course of where it's going. He's already said he wants to eliminate taxes. Okay, well, how are you going to do it? How are you going to sell that? Because Congress, eliminate taxes. We need more money to give away. How do we give it? Unless they give it.
Been the greatest. All they have to do is just raise taxes, not even explain it, never bring it up for a vote. California's doing that now too with the fuel tax, by the way.
So I have a prediction. If Trump eliminates federal income tax, California is going to double their tax. They're going to say, "Great, we'll take it." So that's exactly how it's going to go.
I'll bet you're right.
Sure, it's free money.
You have to pay. You have to pay. We deserve it. Just so you can live in the wonderful state of California, you have to pay for that privilege.
Exactly. That's where they're at. So if you're whatever you were paying, if you're paying 20, 30, 40%, they'll just tack it on. It'll be based on your income. They'll just add an extra 20% to it. There's a 100% chance that's going to happen. You'll have places like Illinois that'll do that, and New York that'll do that. And then all the people will just flee that have any money, and they'll just go to places like California, like Florida and Tennessee and Texas, and places where there's 6 or 7 states that have no income tax. They'll just
Nevada.
Leave. Yeah, why bother? Nevada, right there. It's a 4-hour drive right to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you ought to go to that event they're having there this week. It's there's an event in Vegas. And I will tell you what it is. I don't know if you could drive there or not, but I think I put it in entertainment, national news entertainment. It is, I'm looking, hold on. It's called Vindicated. CharLee, it is Las Vegas, August 9th and 10th. And you got Mike Flynn, Giuliani, Roger Stone, Christina Bobb, Dr. Simone Gold, Mike Lindell, Wade Allen Root, Mike Davis, Peter Tickton, Dave Clements, Jim and Joe Hoft are going to be there. I think they're maybe the ones putting it on. And it's called Vindicated. Heroes Stood Up for the Deep State, and it's in Las Vegas, Nevada. So it's right by you. I talked to Jim Hoff yesterday. He's like, "Are you coming?" I'm like, "Jim, it's too hot there for me to go. I mean, it's not like it's not hot here." But I said no. Or Joe. I talked to Joe yesterday, so he said, he said that they're having this event, and he wanted to know if I was going. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go. It's just too far, too short a notice." But I like to be at those events. I think they're fun. And for you, it's probably 6 or 7 hours away, I would think, right?
Yeah. From NorCal, yeah.
Yeah, take your jet.
Take my jet. That's right. My Ford F-150 jet. I think it's great what you're doing. I want to see it do well. And if you're not getting your news from yournews.com, I hope you will start. And if you're a contributor, if you're a broadcaster, podcaster, journalist, go to yournews.com. Down to the bottom of the page, you can become a contributor. Sam will share monetization with you. And if you want to invest, this is a very smart thing to invest in right now. This is your opportunity to invest in something that is growing exponentially. And you can do that too. All at the bottom of the page, go to yournews.com and scroll down and have at it, have fun. But start using it as your news for not just national stuff, world stuff, but local stuff too. That's what's great about this platform. You put in your zip code, you'll just see stories from what's going on in your area. I love that. Well
Yeah,
done.
thanks. Oh, it's coming. I mean, everybody always wanted to be part of Facebook and YouTube and, all these big tech giants like Google. And, you never were able to participate in those. The only void that hasn't been filled is the media. And what we do replaces the legacy media. So, for people that are looking for, if you're looking for a big investment opportunity that has massive upside, this is definitely it. If you want to roll the dice, you could spend $200 and just buy 100 shares. I mean, and if it hits, at least you made some money off of it. But this is something that whether I do it or not, it's inevitable. Somebody will fill this void. I mean, the media, the landscape is collapsing. There's literally nowhere for these people to go. And there's still a demand for local news. I mean, it's probably bigger than ever. So as we onboard more news reporters, and as I told you, you value these digital properties like Twitter and True Social and Facebook and Rumble and YouTube are all valued based on their user base. That's how they're valued. And the more users they have, the bigger the value. Okay, it's just how it works. Now the products like Rumble and YouTube, there's less broadcasters than there are people like that. There's more people on X than there are people broadcasting, right? That's why X has 600 million people that have accounts, and YouTube has 51 million. So it's a monstrous difference, right? But the value is different. Everybody on X is worth less than $100. And the way you do that is you take them. Well, of course, you can't do it with X, but you don't know the valuation. So valuation on X probably has went up substantially from what he paid for to 46 billion. But it's probably, you could do it with True Social. I think it's $83 a user, $84 a user. But then, and the way you do that is you take the market cap, whatever DLJ Media is, you take the market cap and you divide it into the user base. In their case, it's 6 million, and that'll give you a number per user. With Rumble, which has a $3 billion market cap and 250,000 users, you just take 250 and divide it into 3 billion, and it'll give you the user base. So the value for a Rumble user or a YouTube user is about $12,000. It's kind of amazing how it works. Simply because YouTube, they're part of Alphabet, which owns 100 and something different digital properties. Certainly, Google makes up a huge portion of that, as well as YouTube and Instagram. But the last valuation that they did, which was, I think was this year, was 550 billion. So they probably do it on the lower end, or so it could be 500 or 600 billion. So at 600 billion, they have 51 million users or channels. So you just take 50 million divided into 600 billion, it's $12 or 12,000 per user. So it's almost the same. I mean, if at 550, it's 11,000. So it's right in the same range. And that's based on current market. So if market goes up, they could have more of a value. And if it goes down, it has less of a value. So in our case, we currently have over 5,000 users, people like you. So that value would be 60 million. And by the way, I'm selling a small amount of stock at 20 million, which primes the pump. The next one will be 100. And the one after that will probably be 300 to 500 million.
There you go. All at yournews.com. Yournews.com. Sam Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time and being on the show again.
Yeah, my pleasure, Charlie. Always good to see you.
All right, back at you. And you want to help this show and be a part of what we're doing, you want to contact me, you want to even be on the show yourself, you can do that too. Book a guest slot. Yep, I've opened it up to anybody. If I'm interested in what you're doing, I'm sure others will be as well. So reach me at charleesimons.com. That's CharLeeSimons.com. And you can help contribute too, and I could sure use it. I could really help with little financial costs, actually great financial costs that I incur with putting this show on and getting it on different platforms. It all costs money. At charleesimons.com is where you can help, and I would appreciate that. And if you like this show right now, too, you'll be helping with the algorithm part of it. And you'll find this show, of course, at yournews.com. So like this show right now, just hit that like button. Go ahead. Thank you. and share these shows, share shows of all conservative podcasters, because that's how we get the word out, and that's how we beat the mainstream media down into the pile of ashes that that they deserve to be. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America, but most importantly, America bless God.